Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Relationship Atlas podcast. I'm your host. My name is Atlas, and this is a podcast designed to help you map out and walk the difficult terrain of your intimate relationships. And today, I want to simplify things a little bit and talk about one simple tool that Gabby and I use as an almost a non-negotiable at this point. And the reason we have done so is because of the phrase structure creates freedom. A lot of times, for me at least, I used to consider freedom to be a lack of structure. I should have the time available to do the things I want when I want. That was the traditional idea of what freedom meant. And ironically enough, as I gave myself more time, for example, on a day off, I actually had less freedom because I was so worried about what I should be doing, what I need to be doing, what I think will be the right thing to do, what I am worried about will be the wrong thing to do. I was not free in my mind, although I was free in my space. And so as a relationship dynamic, structure creates immense amounts of freedom as a team. Whereas the more space we give, it has the tendency to actually reduce the amount of freedom or the feeling of free that we are looking to achieve. So what we're going to do is take a really simple tool that all businesses, hopefully, are using, which is just simply a weekly meeting. Now, this is as simple as it sounds, but I want to break it out into a couple components. Maybe if you are a weekly meeting couple already, this can just be a shift in terminology or nuance that might help frame things in a more empowering or helpful way. If you are new to this tool, this will obviously be a full discourse on how we make this work. And my encouraging thought here is to take what I share and then find a way for it to work with you. So as an example, the first thing that we do is we know that we meet for our weekly meeting every Sunday night. And it is when we're eating dinner. So we don't meet before, we don't meet after. We're eating dinner at the table and we're going through our week together. For other clients of mine, it has been on a Thursday because their weekend is one of their busier times. And so they get after things on a Thursday. So the day and the time are irrelevant. This is just has worked for us, and feel free to adopt it if you think it works for you. So first parameter of a weekly meeting is that it needs consistency. If you're constantly fluctuating your weekly meeting, it's going to be a challenge or a difficulty to get a sense of what the routine is so that it just becomes what you do. In a business sense, the same thing occurs. If you keep pushing meetings off or delaying them by half an hour or missing them completely, the consistency around that meeting will start to feel unsafe and unreliable. And so what we don't want to do is create more havoc than necessary in our relational dynamic. So we want to create consistency and safety around this kind of commitment. So we both show up Sunday night for our weekly meeting. From there, what we're starting with is, what is your work schedule? Really simple, to the point. What is your work schedule for this upcoming week? And this often takes care of itself in most ways. It takes care of the week in most ways because we go through and we just say, okay, here's my schedule, here's your schedule. In our situation, we are working with one vehicle. So we have to consider all the driving points, the stops, the pickups, the drop-offs. And then we have to consider our clients. Where do our clients fit into this map of working full-time and also needing to transport while also having two dogs, while also having church, while also having our personal commitments, right? These are all the things that find themselves in the week. And why we have decided to take on the discourse of a weekly meeting is because it clears up any assumptions or unspoken expectations or even last minute pieces of communications that tend to bother us, annoy us, trigger us, cause an unnecessary fight. What we're doing with the weekly meeting is creating the structure necessary for the rest of the week to feel free. So again, structure creates freedom. So we start on the Sunday. What's your Monday look like? Okay, here's when I start. Here's when you start. Okay, perfect. What does the dogs look like in the morning to take them out? Who's taking the dogs out after when we're home? What is our client schedule like today? Okay, great. All right, so we have Monday down. Here's step one. Awesome. And then what are we doing for dinner on Monday? We go as far as getting down to dinner on Monday because it clears out the what do you want to eat conversation. So when you both get home and you're like, what are you feeling? That has a tendency to be a decision at the end of a day full of decisions. You're decisioned out. And so it's whatever you want, or I don't care, or can't you just pick something? It becomes an unnecessary argument that we clear out by having the conversation early. Now, I will say we are regimented, if you will, in how we eat and what we eat. So it's simple for us in a lot of ways because we're in agreement. If you find yourself in situations where you are often in disagreements, this is where planning it out ahead of the week will be a really huge help. You won't have to worry about going home thinking about what you're going to eat because you already know. And that can be planned out in your grocery shopping. So Monday is done. Okay, great. Let's go to Tuesday. Same thing. Work, dogs, clients, food, plan the day out. Perfect. Then we do that all the way through, and we do that Monday to Friday. Saturday, we don't plan, even though it's a free day, because the week brings out a lot of different life experiences, a lot of different challenges, a lot of different exciting moments. So Saturday can change, and we like to leave it malleable. And so we plan that on Saturday morning or on Friday night, but we do still plan our Saturdays, our days off, and I'll tell you why. But for now, let's just understand that the weekly meeting, what we've done is we've essentially situated schedules, routines, and we removed any decisions that don't really need to be made day of, that can be made ahead of it. We're getting proactive. We're creating the structure ahead of time so that we can feel free in our minds. We're not unspokenly expecting somebody to cook this, or we're not last minute calling somebody and saying, hey, like, I need you to pick me up today. We're cleaning up any miscommunications that are possible throughout the week by just deciding now, here is what I'm committing to, and then following through throughout the rest of the week. Now we move to the weekend, where I mentioned we do the Friday and the Saturday, the Friday planning for the Saturday or the Saturday morning for the Saturday. Days off for some, and maybe I'll speak to us, days off in our history have been a challenging time for us. One of the more challenging times. When we are not busy with things and we have space to do things, that is when historically the majority of our arguments have come from. And so it's taken us quite some time to find the right system, the right approach, the right tact, timing, tone, and language to find ourselves in better situations on those days. And the biggest piece, hands down, has just been creating a schedule for the day. Even if the schedule includes 2 hours of nothing, let's say I want to do nothing for 2 hours and then I'm good with doing the rest of the day. Even if that is just a part of the schedule, at least we have the structure set so that we can be mentally free. And this is kind of the component of structure creates freedom that I think is crucial to dive in for at least us. Is it's more of the mental freedom than it is the physical freedom. When we are mentally free, it feels like we have more space, we're more settled, we're more grounded, we're not bogged in with decisions we need to make, things we should be doing, have to be doing, probably could get to doing. It takes away that and says, here's the steps, here's what we're doing, here's how the day is going to look. Great, now we can think freely, which gives us more freedom feeling in the body. So the weekly meeting for us is a massively important tool, and when we don't use it, we really feel it. It's almost immediate where we notice, oh, well, hold on, we haven't navigated Thursday. I know it's Monday, but what's happening on Thursday? And just simple decisions like that, knowing you have them coming, can create resistance, unnecessary tension, unnecessary conflict, and a higher sense of urgency. You almost start to feel like you're behind in the week, which is very similar to how you would feel in a business when you haven't gotten aligned on how the week is going to go. What events are coming up? What are we short on? I used to work restaurants. So what product do we need to get into the house? What events do we need to plan? What are the schedules looking like for the week? Are there any challenges that we know we need to face that we can start getting ahead of now? What worked last week? What didn't? How are we getting ahead of things? These conversations, again, are very business-like, but I actually consider a lot of operating in a relationship to be very similar to a business, where without great systems, you will not find great success. And notice that I said great systems. We all have systems in place right now, but I would probably assume or find it safe to assume that they're not systems you made on purpose and with intention. They're just systems you fell into. They're habits and routines you just fell into. So like a business, when it falls into things it doesn't have control over, it tends to fail. And it's the classic example of failing to plan is planning to fail. So in this situation, when we don't plan for the week, we inevitably plan for failure as a relational dynamic. And then it finds itself in other things like our work ability at our jobs, our client execution, our love for our dogs that we give them every day. All of the things are affected by our miss on having that weekly meeting. Ergo, why we believe it is such an important non-negotiable now moving forward. So I hope this helped provide some context around not just the importance of a weekly meeting, but also the reality that structure creates freedom. If you can really dial that conversation in, even if you just plan day to day in the mornings together and create that structure around how the day is going to look, you will find that you will feel more free to build connection, to have intimacy, to enjoy the day together or even just on your own. You'll notice that the pressure of more decisions coming later is already dealt with because the plan has been made. Now the only other aspect of it would be execute. Make the plan and then execute while understanding that life, it has its moments. So own that. I know I committed to this. This happened. I apologize. Right? It's just a quick ownership piece because once you've put yourself on the line to the commitment, you don't really have a whole lot of argument. You can't say, well, I didn't know, or I misunderstood you, or I didn't know that I really committed to that. No, you have by making this plan. So it clears up a lot of that unintentional argument, all that disconnection, all that disharmony, and puts you back in states of intention, back in states of control, and back in states of harmony and connection with your partner. I hope this was valuable today. This is another quick clip of the Relationship Atlas podcast where we prioritize keeping episodes short, sweet, to the point so you can listen to them without affecting your day too much. You can take it on a quick drive, quick walk, or even just grabbing coffee in the morning to help set up your day for success with your partner. Again, I hope this helped. If it did, let me know. Drop it in the comments. If you're on Spotify, give me a rating. Let me know how you're feeling. If it's a 5, if it's not, that's all good. I'd love to hear your feedback. And let me know what you want to hear. What are your current challenges? What are your current struggles? What are you looking to gain support on? Maybe you're in a financial situation that doesn't allow you to get support. Let's talk. Put a little comment in the box below or even DM me on Instagram. Let me know what you want to hear, what you want us to divulge into here so that I can be of service in some way. And if you're looking to take this work even further and you're in the financial situation to do so, please reach out. I'd love to be a part of your journey in some way, shape, or form. Even if it's just this podcast, that's awesome. If not, as a client, I'd love to be a part of your relational journey. I'll leave it there. Thanks for listening to the Relationship Atlas podcast. I'll see you in the next one.